hours. Just to increase people's awareness and just to get people back into sport. People who may have kind of lost throughout, they may have been in it in childhood. Yeah, it's just, I suppose, to highlight the importance of sport within the LGBT community.
Thank you very much. What would you say? What are the main things that Sporting Pride does to involve those within the LGBT community in sport?
Yeah, so I suppose we're a completely volunteer organization. So people would have different roles. So there's no government funding or anything like that. So a lot of the time is spent trying to get grants for projects that we can go ahead. So basically, when we have money coming in, we try to set up events. Um, like we've had, a variety of sports days, try a triathlon, water sports. Yeah, just a variety of anything, try tennis. Yeah, just kind of once off day things. And then there's been a few of, discounted, very discounted, like swimming lessons, maybe say 8 swimming lessons or kayaking. So yeah, it's kind of like we, when we get funds, we try to give that out. We distribute it to the LGBT sports groups around Ireland that ask for it. And other than that, we put the money into trying to create events.
Brilliant. Roughly how large would you say the organisation is currently?
Um, well, there's actually only about 10 of us. Yeah, it's just a 10-person
Mhm.
kind of committee. That's really it, yeah. Of
Brilliant.
actually, yeah.
And talking on the wider scale, so maybe looking more UK based or globally, UK and
Yeah.
Ireland, would you say, do you think that enough is being done to involve the LGBTQ plus community in sport? And if not, what more could be done?
Yeah, I mean, I suppose there's a lot more awareness, but then there's a lot more I suppose issues and hatred that have kind of come to light over the past couple of years. But yeah, I don't know, like it's say for in Ireland, the sporting organizations would have been allocated money, would say, to kind of involve certain groups, um, back into sports. And like it's kind of hard to know where the money went sometimes, because
Mm,
we don't see any of it, and we still have to, fundraise for a lot of it. So, um, like sometimes there is just tokenism of kind of seeing people will contact us to try and show that they're, well, it is good anyway, that they're friendly and inclusive. But um, I suppose awareness and education is a huge part. Yeah, I think a lot of people have actually come to us for that. It's like, how can you be as inclusive as possible? Um, and that's for, we'll say, clubs that may not be LGBT specific, just for, yeah, how to be as welcoming and yeah, supportive, like
mhm.
a safe, supportive environment as possible. Yes.
Brilliant. What would you say are some of the main barriers to the LGBTQ plus community becoming involved within sport are today?
Um, I suppose, well, fear of not being good enough, I guess, and fear of, like, you would hear of a lot of people that, I suppose, sport in various ways can be vicious, and then that they had a terrible, well, it's like anyone like had a bad experience in childhood or as teenagers, they then kind of leave it and don't go back. So yeah, I think fear of just of going back or possibly not being good enough. Yeah, and I suppose just going into a space for people that may not have been in those spaces before is very daunting. So, um, yeah, it's a, I guess it's
We can move on if you like.
yeah, yeah. I don't know.
No
Do I have
problem.
a one? Yeah, yeah.
That's okay. So the next one, my next question would be, what do you think the main importance is and some of the main benefits of having inclusive and LGBTQ plus specific sporting clubs?
Yeah, so I think that one is just very, very important because like there's just even now the world we live in, like in Ireland, we're 10 years of marriage equality. And even at that, at the weekend, fairly well known guy in Ireland, Brendan Corney, he was like attacked. It was like homophobic attack.
Hmm.
And I just there is as kind of as accepting, I suppose, on a whole, we are in this world, there's a huge amount of hatred. And yeah, so it's kind of like fear. So I suppose safe space is such a thing. People like I've chatted to people before and they're like they were on teams and they just didn't want to come out to their teammates because they didn't know when you walk into a space and you know you're all the same or you're allies and you just know that it's that open space for that it's just safe. I that's really the number one thing.
Mm,
Um being with your
brilliant.
peers. Yeah.
And obviously, it's not just about on the pitch, in a sporting environment. Um, because LGBTQ plus clubs also run like socials to involve people. So, what would your message to be to somebody within the LGBTQ plus community who is maybe a little bit nervous of getting involved in sport? They're not the most athletic, but what would your advice be to them about joining a club?
Um just do it. It's honestly the best thing you'll ever do. I mean, I remember in 2014 I joined Pink Ladies, it's an LGBT hockey club, and I remember the fear like going on to the pitch, but like as in that was one of the best decisions ever. Like the camaraderie, the friends that you make. Yeah, and again, that safe space. Uh, yeah, you'll never regret it. And like any form of sport is so good for the head and mind, body and soul. It's just yeah, just to do it, just to try it, you may as well. As in, I've never heard someone that said that they just didn't like they were anxious about going or something. It's just it's feel
Hmm.
the fear, do it anyway, is what I would say.
Yeah, brilliant. Thank you very much.